What's up, Amazon sellers? Are you looking for products to source in Q2 on Amazon USA for your online arbitrage business? Then if you are, then stay to the end because I'm going to share my top categories for Amazon Arbitrage USA in Q2. Stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and I've been selling on Amazon now doing online arbitrage for the last 5 years. Now in the UK, I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller, check this out. In the USA, I'm a 6-figure Amazon seller, check this out. And hopefully in the future, I'm gonna expand into another marketplace. And if you're interested in learning about my journey and what I'm learning as well, then do make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But hey, enough about me. What are we going to go through now? Well, first things first, number one, I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction to obviously the topic today. Number two, I'm going to go through, should we say, where we're actually getting this information from, where the data is coming from. Number three, I'm going to talk about my top selling categories for Q2, and obviously share what you came here to obviously hear about. And finally, number four, I'm going to share some top tips for you as well that are going to really help you out. So let's get started. So first things first, as you might all know, and like I said earlier, I've been selling on Amazon now for the last 5 years. Now in the UK marketplace, we're doing online arbitrage, and recently, last year, 2021, in the USA, we started in there as well. Now, pretty much over the last 12 months since we've been doing that, I think in the USA, we've pretty much just done over about 400,000 in sales, which I'm super, super happy about. Now, aside from my Amazon business, I also manage another business, FastTrackFBA, which provides, online arbitrage leads and services like VAs to Amazon sellers. Now, with that being said, what I'm going to share with you now today is what I've learned, from the top selling categories, we've seen in Q2 in the USA marketplace. And this is from my team who've been sourcing from it over that roughly 400K worth of revenue. Now, you might be asking why this is important. Well, basically, to say as another quarter approaches, with Q1, Q2, Q3, it's good idea. It's a really good idea actually to be thinking about what products should I be selling. Don't get me wrong, there are products which sell all year round, but also there's the products which don't. Advent calendars, Q4, perfect. Maybe Q3, not so much. They do sell, but not as well. Now, there are items which you want to sell, but obviously items which you want to avoid. Now, with that being said, hopefully you can learn from my top selling categories and hopefully find potential products for your Q2 to help you A, stop losing money, but also B, obviously find products that are going to help you obviously grow your Amazon business. Quick question for you guys. What categories are you looking or currently selling in Q2? Let me know in the comments down below. Is it like health and beauty? Is it like DVDs? Is it toys and games? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to see which categories you're looking at. I'll maybe learn something from you as well. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, this leads me nicely onto my second chapter, which is about where we're actually getting this information from. Now, like I said earlier, I manage 2 Amazon businesses and FastTrackFBA. Now, quite simply, FastTrackFBA, one of the services it provides is leads to Amazon sellers. Now, we've got a team of VAs in the USA and also in the UK sourcing deals, all the websites, all the stores, and putting them onto our web platform. Now, we know, should we say, by doing that, and the teams which are doing it, we know which suppliers work. We also know which categories they're coming from, and we review all those deals. And also we know, where our suppliers and our customers are buying as well, which really work for their business as well. Now, with that being said, should we say, the categories we're going to talk about today are going to be sharing from that lead service. So quite simply, of all the deals that we're finding, we're going to be sharing with you the top categories from all our sources over the course of this current Q2 and Q2 last year. So obviously, this is where the data is coming from, and hopefully it's going to help you in your Amazon business. Now, that leads me nicely onto the third chapter, which is actually my top selling categories from that data in Q2. So let's jump into it now. Now, the first category I'm going to put out there for you is grocery and gourmet foods. Now, what I'll say about this category is the items are fast selling because basically these are necessities. People are going to buy them, from time to time. They're things that people are buying all the time, should we say. And in addition to that, there's a lot of suppliers so that are not really going to limit your orders. So if you're looking to, should we say, get into bulk buying, maybe investing more money, then this is the category for you. And they're fast selling items as well. Now, despite the advantages of the grocery and the gourmet food section, one of the cons that you might be thinking about or might not know about is these items are generally perishable, meaning to say that they are prone to damage, or for example, they have a shelf life on them. They will expire. So for example, you might be buying chocolates. They might melt easily. So it might be like chips, or crisps. They might break easily. So bear in mind that these items do need extra care, obviously, when shipping and handling them. Now, not only that, obviously, since these items are perishable, and I mentioned it earlier, they can have expiration dates on them. So with that being the case, you've got to, should we say, number one, double check the expiration dates with the supplier and make sure that when you're receiving them, they've got enough shelf life but also as well that you're getting them sold within the time frame Amazon expects. Otherwise, you may get negative reviews. Now, if you want to learn more about expiration dated products, what I'll do is I'll drop a link to a video I created previously which explains everything about that and obviously how long you need to make sure the shelf life your products have before you ship them to Amazon, obviously not to get negative feedback or even Amazon destroys them. So check out that video. Now, my second top category for you in the USA is health and household. Now, time and time again, we've seen that, should we say, suppliers under this category offer great offers. Buy one, get one free. I love it, it's amazing. So in regards to this, if you're an arbitrage seller like myself who aims to look for products that you can save money, obviously get at a discount, then this is going to be the category for you. Now, in addition to that, health and household also has good profits. And also, you're going to make some great money there as well, because hey, who doesn't like making profit? That is the aim of the game. Now, along with the pros of selling health and household, I want to share with you maybe some of the cons, some of the issues under this category. One of them is that the category has a lot of private label brands you've got to be careful of. Now, you might be asking yourself, why is this an issue? Well, if you're selling private label brands, then basically you can get things like IP or intellectual property complaints against you as an Amazon seller. Basically, an IP complaint is a legal action, or should we say a complaint raised by the brand owner, one party, ideally the brand owner, that feels the other party has infringed upon their intellectual property rights, and obviously has lodged that complaint to Amazon. Now, the one thing which I'll say is if you get too many IP complaints, this can put your account health at risk, and get too many more, you can obviously lose your Amazon selling account as well. And that is definitely something we don't want to be doing. So if you want to know more about IP complaints and how to respond to them, check out a video up above called Top Tips on How to Respond to IP Complaints. Trust me, I think you'll love that. Now, I just quickly talked about IP complaints. Now, the one thing I'll say is if you are worried about brands that you should not be selling on Amazon, do check out the FastTrackFBA brand checker. I'll drop a link down below. It's a free list of all the brands, and we're updating it all the time with brands that we know obviously issue IP complaints. Check it out, have a look down, the link below. Now, the third category I'm going to talk to you about is the beauty and personal care category. Now, what I'll say about this category is that we've seen that most of the products under the beauty and personal care category, get it right, Tom, they are going to be selling at any season, or should we say throughout the year. So if you're worried about, should we say, maybe having excess stock from Q2 going to Q3, then this category, you do not need to worry. They are selling all year round. Now, we like the upside, but what about the downside? Well, one of the, should we say, issues of selling the beauty and personal care products in this category is time and time again, we've seen this category can have an element of risk because they are fake products. So, just consider that these items are high-end, high brands, and obviously high-priced items. So there is an incentive for people to sell fakes. So you might be sourcing from a website which has an amazing deep discount, but obviously just be mindful that this could actually be a fake product. So just be very, very careful. Now, if you can't prove, obviously, that the product you bought is from a legitimate supplier, from a legitimate supply chain going back to manufacturer, then unfortunately Amazon will not accept that receipt, and that is going to be a big red flag on your account. So just be careful of that. Now, what do I suggest? Well, quite simply, to avoid selling fake products, before you purchase, your products online, make sure you do out the necessary checks. To make sure the website is legit, checking for like the padlock icon in the upper portion, also just confirming the overall basics of the websites, like reviews and how long the website's been around. I could go on and on about this, but quite simply, I made a video previously, which I think you should check if you want to know about how to check the legitimacy of a website. Check it out above, I'll drop it up there. It's a video that I've made which will just explain everything and all the step-by-step checks that we do with our brands or suppliers to make sure we know they're legit, or should we say reduce the risk of them having problems. So check out that, I think you'll love it. Now, the fourth category I'm going to talk to you about is home and kitchen. Now, in this category, we've seen that items have high profits. Who doesn't love high profits? Now, if you're looking to make money, then by sourcing into the home and kitchen category is going to be really worth the effort and the time. Now, in addition to that, this category has a wide range of products. So you can get things like microwaves, pretty big one, toasters, but also much smaller items, like garlic presses. Everyone talks about that, obviously in the private label world, but there are a lot of deals, a lot of items that you can source within this category. Now, despite, should we say, the high profits and the wide range of products, by selling in the home and kitchen category, it does have cons. Now, one of which is the home and kitchen category has a lot of very heavy items. I mentioned it earlier, a microwave, that's not particularly light, so just be mindful of that. There are going to be additional fees in shipping these costs, shipping these items, such as a microwave, to Amazon. So when you are selling that home and kitchen, make sure that you're being cost effective around pricing, that maybe your cost per unit is correct, and you've factored in that maybe you can't fit as many items in a box as you normally would. I don't know how many microwaves you're going to be able to fit in a box, but for me, not many at all. For you, obviously, when you're doing these items, just make sure that your cost per unit is right, and also, on top of that, do double check with the warehouse how much they charge. charge for heavier items because there might be a bigger issue for that you haven't factored in. And obviously a profitable item might no longer be profitable. So keep an eye on your idea on your costs. Now the fifth and the final category I want to share with you is a category called sports and outdoors. Now what I'll say is that considering is summer is fast approaching and spring is already here in Q2, it's the perfect time to source those products that people are going to be buying to get outside. Now, with that being said, sports and outdoor is a fast selling item or line or category, should we say, in Q2 because people are buying them in preparation for the summer and obviously the spring as well. Now, in addition to that, the sports and outdoor category has big profits, so you can make some big money as well. Now, along with the advantages, what are some of the disadvantages? Well, quite simply, we have seen that a lot of these suppliers do put product limits on how much you can buy. So you're not going to be able to buy a huge amount of stock. And also as well, they do cancel orders if you try and detect if they detect it for business purposes, so just be mindful. What do I suggest for you is that when looking for a good deal, try and find one in an online store. It's a great deal. And then hey, try and find that product in a wholesaler. Go to a wholesaler and see if you can buy it in more bulk. You also know the buy price that you need to make it profitable. That can help you overcome those stock limits or order quantity limits. So top tip for you there to overcome that positive or negative. Now, I'm just talking about top categories for, selling in Q2 in Amazon USA. Now, if you know a little bit about me, I started off in the UK and I've moved over to the USA. Now, the one thing we kind of learned in that transition is quite simply the fact that if you are a non-US resident, you can open up a UK company and sell into the US, but doing online arbitrage, doing it that way is really hard. Why? Because the majority of US retailers online do not accept international credit cards or debit cards. So quite simply, you've got to have a billing address within the USA. Now, we have recently overcome this, and hence it's allowed me to, build my USA business to over $400,000 in revenue in the first year, which I'm super happy about. How? Well, quite simply, we built, or should I say created, an Amazon LLC. Now, I did this all remotely. I didn't even have to go into the US to do it. We got everything from the EIN number, we set up the bank account, we got the Amazon account approved, I get mail, even the prep center, and obviously done 400,000 in revenue without even having to set foot in the country and do it all online. Now, if you're interested in learning how I've done it and what I've done, we've created a course called Getting Started on USA, which documents everything in my entire journey, lots of screen shares, and supports you in understanding what we did. Now, if you're interested, have a look at the link down below for the FastTrackFBA, Getting Started on Amazon USA, creating an LLC. I think you're going to love it. Have a look at the link down below. Now, this leads me nicely onto my fourth chapter, some top tips for you. So what do I recommend for you? Well, look, first things first, check the keeper graph. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that you know, or make sure that you do actually check that keeper graph to know the product sales history. Now, if you want to know which items are selling in Q2, by checking the keeper graph, it's going to help you understand that. And what I would say is just make sure you go out to one whole year and look at Q2 last year, see what happened. That's really important. Now, the other top tip I recommend for you in regards to keeper, you're looking for the sales rank, not price history. Sales rank defines sales velocity. So make sure that that is obviously consistent and you're happy with that as well. That's the green line, by the way. Now, the second top tip I recommend for you is review your sales from last year. My God, if you've been selling for over a year, you've made sales last year. Find out what products are working, find out what suppliers work, find out what categories are working for you as well. And by doing this, you're gonna have an idea of what products, categories, and suppliers are gonna help you in this period. My God, don't reinvent the wheel. Copy from last year. You've already solved the problem. Now, the third top tip for you is focus on non-seasonal items. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. By focusing on non-seasonal items, this is going to help you not just find for Q2 and have a great Q2, but it's going to help you in Q3, Q4, Q1, and hey, Q2 next year as well. So focus on those. That's going to help you selling throughout the year and obviously just build up a really good business. Now, what I will say is after going, through my top selling Amazon arbitrage products in the USA or Amazon categories in the USA for Q2, you might want to consider learning about different sourcing techniques to help maximize the results from those categories. So what I'll do is I'll drop a playlist around here called Sourcing 101. Check that out. I think you're going to love it. Now, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more, do make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But for myself, Thomas Parkinson and FastTrackFBA, thank you very much.